Did Welcome and GM everyone to the Sol Brothers podcast with my dear friend Eno and myself Simon, where it is our job to throw you guys into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in this exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to help you stay on top of the latest and greatest on Solana so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, it is episode 20. We're in the top 1%. Most podcasts don't make it this far. How do you feel?
Well, I feel amazing. Not only because this is episode 20 of the Soul Brothers pod, but also because yesterday was the 5th birthday of the Solana blockchain. So it has been 5 years now that Solana has been on mainnet, the beta version of Solana. So literally, the block zero was completed yesterday, 5 years ago, at 4:29 p.m. my time zone in Eastern Europe. So there was already something to celebrate. But yeah, now Soul Brothers Pod is also at episode 20, and I think this means that we are here to stay because we recorded already 20 of these EPs, and we're having a lot of fun here. And there's so much to cover every single week. It really doesn't get boring, and I think also the two of us make a good team. I think we can really help the people to have some fun and understand what the heck is happening on Solana. What do you think?
Well, all I gotta say is number one, stay solid, and number two, yeah, I mean, this has been an absolute, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm actually coming up really near towards my second year anniversary in Solana, and for you, it's been just about a year. So it's like it's just kind of weird how the timing has worked out. It's great. I'm glad to see the chain not only survive but thrive. And quite frankly, even a year ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't clear that was the case. But we're still here and we're still building, and we're here to talk about all the great things that are happening in the ecosystem.
I mean, I think by now, if people haven't understood yet that Solana is here to stay, then they're not deep enough into the topic, right? It's like people saying Bitcoin won't survive 5 years ago. They just didn't get it. They didn't look into it deeply. Those people from 5 years ago that said Bitcoin is not working, they're now, saying, yeah, okay, true, it's going to stick around. It's digital gold. I understand the whole concept. Same with Solana. There's 3 blockchains in this world that make sense. Essentially, sorry to everyone else out there, but it's Ethereum, it's Solana, it's Bitcoin. They have a place in the world. They have some sort of chance to survive and actually fulfill something. And having the SEC in the United States, for example, mention Solana in one of their papers, and they talk about how Solana blockchain can be used for government databases, for digital identity. They even mentioned that inside the paper as well. So that just has been tweeted a couple of days ago now. Those kind of news, like we get acknowledgement. That's all we want. We get acknowledgement of the tech. And I think that can bring us further. And yesterday, so that was the 16th of March, everyone celebrated five years anniversary for Solana, and there has been a lot of content on the Twitter timeline of people being grateful and being happy about what we've been accomplishing here together. So yeah, but now I think it's time to look forward and to look into the present, and that's what we're going to do today. Right? We have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, and actually, I love starting off the pod with I like the way that you put it in Hong Kong. It's the coziest part of the podcast, going into the current state of the markets. Simon, I mean, always look forward to your TA. People are saying that I look bored during your TA analysis. That is categorically untrue. I look forward to it every week. So yeah, I'm super excited. Let's go right into it, brother.
Yeah, I definitely love the face you make when we talk about these things. But let's take a look at the Solana chart right now. Let's take a look and see where we are. So just looking at the 4-hour chart right now. Let's even pull up the daily chart here. And I think what's quite obvious, first of all, it didn't change a lot from last week. So no new big updates, because we're still hovering around in the sideways range at something that we could call a local bottom. At least we have established the chances that this could be one. We definitely saw that the pullback has found support in the support region around $130 to $120. We actually dropped a bit lower than that to the 110, but that was my last support line of defense. And we were able to hold that as well. There's a few indicators we can look at right now in terms of to get an idea where we go next. First of all, you see the moving average here, the yellow line in the chart. It looks as a good support, but we dropped through it, and now we're in an oversold territory below that line. And historically speaking, when we are below the moving average, it is always a good time to accumulate, but we don't know when we will break out to the upside again. That is the problem with it, but it's always a good indicator for fair prices, undervalued token of Solana, and combining the moving average with the RSI, which is another good indicator for overbought territory. We can also see that we saw the RSI dipping below 30, which is usually definitely a value of the RSI that has been considered oversold. So we only dip into the 30 range. If you go back in the chart, it's been a long time that we've dipped so low. That was the 11th of June 2023, if I see this correctly, that we really dipped into the 2023. That's crazy, into such an oversold territory, and that's where we are right now. And just look around in the world. We have Trump, being a new president in the United States. We have wars going on here and there. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market, but there's also Bitcoin reserves. There's Solana ETFs. There's a lot of countries strategically exploring Bitcoin and other digital assets as part of their agendas. And yet we see Solana, for example, in a territory that's so oversold. So, it is definitely a bit, it is concerning. Now, lastly, to wrap this off, obviously we need to talk a little bit more about the short term as well, because people that tune into the weekly Soul Brothers pod, they want to know what's going to happen next. And ladies and gentlemen, I have no fucking idea, but I can give you some ideas. I can give you some hints we can work with chances. We can work with probabilities. That's all I can do. I cannot tell you what will happen, but what might happen, which is great. That's why I love TA, because you can say whatever you want and no one can argue with you. But here's how I see the chart right now. We dropped a bit last week actually. So we saw quite a drop yesterday on the birthday of Solana. That is unfortunate. But we dropped from this bullish move to the upside. We had a breakout scenario here. This is this wave where you see a good move to the upside. We reached 136. But we didn't quite reach my target range here, the green area that you see between $137 and 148. That was the target range defined based on the Elliott wave strategy for this green wave 3 to the upside. And there's still the chance to reach this, even though I have to say the pullback we saw yesterday breaks the structure to an extent. So chances got lower right now that we go we go higher, and chances are increasing again that we go lower. That's all I can say. If we're gonna see a comeback here, a breakout to the upside in the next wave up, that might be pretty bullish, because if we complete this 5-wave upside here from the down 1, 2, 3, and then a pullback and then another upside, that would be a good setup for a larger breakout to the $300 level again. But if we don't manage to get there, if we manage to break down here again, especially if we break here through the 124, 120 level, where we see some resistance, then I think we can see prices as low as $100. So it's all going to be decided this week. I feel I have it in the, I feel it's going to happen this week. But I just want to highlight, guys, to everyone here again, and I know Eno loves that as well, the long-term view of everything. We're here for the long term. We're not trying only to lose our money in short-term leverage trades. We also want to invest long-term in spot and just hodl. And if you look at the long-term chart, it actually looks quite good. It looks quite bullish what's possible. I'm looking at the logarithmic chart here right now, and my setup here, the wave setup, I'm just going to share the wave setup of my prime scenario. That's it. Then we can move on. It's a one wave to the upside back in January 2023, pullback, then a bullish wave to the upside. That was the third wave. That is usually an impulsive wave. Now the fourth wave is usually sideways, a bit chunky, I would say. It's not clear what's happening here. That is the fourth wave we're in right now. And if we're holding that level of the $110, $109, $100-ish, we could see another breakout into my target range of this bull cycle's top, which might be between $490, $500 and $386. That is at least my prime scenario right now that I'm looking to. I think it's realistic that we will see another upside, but there's alternatives to that scenario. Okay, but for now, let's see the next weeks. It will be clearer and clearer what's going to happen. For now, it's still my prime scenario that we're right now overbought, that it's a good chance that we recover to an upside and see one more top in this bull cycle before shit might hit the fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people are feeling is that this is somehow like a bear trap, right? And you actually see this every cycle, right? There's this initial bullish sentiment followed by a violent pullback. In our case, it was directly tied to Libra. We had Trump and Melania was probably one of those first events that sucked a lot of liquidity out of Solana, just fear. But then Libra was kind of the final nail in the coffin. I love that we do these week-to-week coverage of Solana price action, because I feel like we have a real sometimes people try to give me their theories for Solana price action. I'm like, well, actually, that's not what happened. Here's the timeline. So it's really nice to have that macro point of view. But it's not just that. There's a full-blown trade war, right? And do you want to cover that a little bit, Simon, or how do you want to go about this? I mean, Donald Trump has been he's been making many moves, the most genius moves of all time. But you've been keeping track of the stuff that's been going on with Canada and Mexico and the rest of the world?
Before I answer the question, do you remember this speech that Trump gave where he said that we're gonna get tired of winning? Do you know that one?
Yes.
You know that speech?
Yes. Of course.
So I'd like maybe not now, but you can practice. But I'd like to do that impersonation sometime with you, because you're very good at it. But because that speech is so ridiculous. Because if you look at it right now, it feels so wrong. He literally says that we're gonna, we're tired of winning. We're gonna get tired of winning because we win so much, and then S&P down, crypto down, everything down, war everywhere. Fucking Twitter toxic as fuck. So it's like, okay, I'm tired, but not of winning, bro. I'm tired of all that shit. Canada has threatened to shut off electricity to part of the US after Trump raised tariffs to 50% on aluminium and steel to Canada. In response, Trump says Canada will pay a financial price so big that it will be read about in history books. This man is just the words he's choosing is literally like Hollywood style. It's like he's writing a book or some shit. Financial price that was so big that it will be read about in history books. He's threatening the nation of Canada, the neighbors that have been pretty neutral, or even pretty good with for a long time, and he's threatening them. Not only threatening, he's actually putting tariffs on them that are quite high, and then this whole trade war starts where they threaten to shut off electricity to the US, which is a lose-lose for both parties. And then he says, well, you can just become the 51st state of the United States, and then everything is going to be fine. There's not going to be any tariffs. Just join the United States of America. And he literally proposed that to Canada. So, I don't know if you want to join this macroeconomic or political discussion here, but I'm pretty sure you at least have some opinion on it and some thoughts, right?
Yeah. No, it's no secret I hate Donald Trump. Like, I really, really hate that guy. And like, the deal that I made with myself is like, okay, like, fuck, he's president now, but at the very least, my bags will do well, So I guess that's the deal I'm making with the devil. And it's like, guys, we got the worst of both worlds. We got a completely mentally unstable president, right? He writes stuff on Truth Social that would get rejected for any Hollywood script. Like, if you wrote a scene with the president where he goes like, it will be read in the history books for years to come, and be like, that's not believable dialogue. Of course, nobody would actually talk like that. Well, guess what? Donald Trump actually talks like that. And he's been picking a lot of fights. That's not the only fight that he picks, Simon. He's picking a fight with the European Union. What's this doozy over here? Oh my goodness.
I'm just because now that you said that he's saying things on Truth, I pulled up another post from him on Truth Social that is probably not to joke about, really, because it involves a lot of bad things in this world. Like, there's still a lot of tensions, obviously in Yemen and in Israel and this part of the world. There's war going on, and Trump obviously and US and United States of America, they're involving themselves. But now, on the weekend, I think it was on the weekend, when did this post go out? It was on the 15th of March. He said, "Today I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen." So obviously, he's getting active. America is sending soldiers in to fight the terrorists in Yemen. You can think of that whatever you want. We don't really want to put too much of our political opinions in here. But when you said the words he's choosing on Truth Social are ridiculous, read this all in caps written paragraph here. To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up and your attacks must stop starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you ever seen before. This is the best example of the wording he chooses. It's just, it is, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore. But this is real, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real post of Donald Trump on Truth Social. And the fact that he is sending troops to Yemen is also real. And the fact that there is a war emerging, intensifying, not getting better it's also real. And that ties in a little bit with all the uncertainties we see in price charts, by the way, to segue back into crypto. Like, the actions of Donald Trump right now are one of the main reasons why we see so much uncertainty. Obviously, next to Sol unlocks and some other things that happen on Solana and crypto specific, this government that is so volatile and unstable, and you don't really know the next move because of these facts, that makes it very, very hard to judge what's happening next. But anyway, you can think of that what you want. We just want to let you know what happened recently and how you can tie this into price action. And I hope that makes sense to everyone.
Yeah. And political opinions aside, one more piece of news from the Trump family, if you could just share my screen. They're also looking into holding talks for a financial stake in the U.S. arm of Binance. I think they must be doing this through World Liberty Financial. They have a sizable stake, if not own outright most of World Liberty Financial, which is the organization that was responsible for launching the Trump and the Melania tokens. It could be through another entity or vehicle, but as far as I can tell, yeah, they're looking to purchase a stake in the U.S. arm of finance, and the markets. This is bullish news, but the fundamentals, guys, is markets crave certainty, and obviously there's very little certainty in an uncertain world. But certainly having a president that's not starting multiple trade wars with Europe, like I don't know, charging like a 200% tariff on like French wines and champagnes, which is just so random. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. But these types of things create uncertainty on the macro level, which trickles down to how we feel in crypto. So even though there's a lot of bullish news, the markets are not reflecting that, right? And the reason why the markets are not reflecting that is because we have the most powerful man in. I'm not saying it's all Donald Trump's fault. Obviously, there's a million reasons why things are priced the way they're priced. But certainly, the president of the United States and his actions has a impact on markets, obviously.
100% on everything right now. On the dollar value, the DXY is suffering. Gold new all-time high on the weekend. S&P down bad. Crypto very uncertain where it's going. All altcoins bleeding. Like all these things are direct results of policy making right in the world. And there's a lot of buttons he can click that have impact on these things. But JohnnyJPEGs.sol also made a good statement and basically saying exactly what you're stating here. So we're not the only people that think that way. He says it's probably one of the wilder bear traps I've ever experienced. The sentiment is wild amidst so much bullish news for crypto. Steady, folks. So it's kind of a hint of optimism, I would say, that basically tells us, guys, there's so much noise going on right now. And don't get me wrong, we're a podcast. We love noise because that's literally gives us things to talk about. It's great, right? Like it's entertaining as well, So like that, just be real here, right? But at the end of the day, we're also here to help you guys sort through the noise and understand what is actually the relevant signal. And we talk about relevant signals, and we're going to do it today as well. We talk about things that happen on Solana, bullish product news, launches, exciting new technologies coming up, token launches, all these kind of things. And they happen bull, bear, whatever we're doing. These things are being done because builders gonna build. So what shall we talk about,
Well, I think the first thing that we should talk about is an update from the Jupiter universe. There's this tweet that was put out by Jupiter Uplink, which is one of the working groups of Jupiter. They call themselves the Jupiter Exchange Content Mafia, and I can't agree. They are a literal content mafia. But the important piece of news, Simon, this is very bullish. Jupiter just flipped Hyperliquid in 24-hour revenue. 3 million. That's insane, right? And Hyperliquid is making it closer to 2.2 million. But even that, I mean, like, come on, guys, like, how much money were we talking about per year? I mean, this is like literally unicorns in the making. Which we should just be happy that we have protocols like this that are providing real value to the space and obviously are able to make revenue. And that's bullish sign for the rest of us, right? We have a lot of work to do and we got to catch up. But yeah, no, it's very bullish. And do you know some of the reasons, Simon? I know you know the reasons. But do you know some of the reasons why Jupiter Exchange actually flipped Hyperliquid in 24-hour revenue?
I think the main reason is going to be the little mess up that Hyperliquid had last week. There was a bit of a bearish news going around because they did have a technical failure in their system that resulted in a big loss for Hyperliquid, and that created a lot of uncertainty. So there was millions of dollars that the protocol actually lost because some technical difficulties with the perp trading, and that obviously went around crypto Twitter. People talked about it. It had a big impact on the price on Hype. So actually, if we look at the chart of Hype, we will see there was a big drop last week. So they suffered from that, and I think there was one of the reasons as well that it was a good chance for Jupiter to flip Hype at that moment. Both platforms performing really, really well for perp trading. Definitely targeting a bit of a different audience, I would say. But they both fulfill the same job. Obviously, on Hype, you have to keep in mind Hyperliquid is providing much more trading pairs to trade perps, right? So just to be they're multi-chain basically because they're their own L1. You can trade Solana there, you can trade Bitcoin there in an unwrapped version kind of, but you can also trade lots of other tokens there. And Jupiter Perps right now is providing a pretty selected set of perps, I would say, with BTC, ETH, and so. Just one kind of caveat here. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Xiong, who's the technical co-founder of Jupiter, but I mean that's a little disingenuous because Meow is also technical, which blows my mind. I did not know that until recently. But JLP, how it works is it's essentially an index of 4 different tokens, right? So it's BTC, it's ETH, and Solana, as well as USDC, right? So you use the BTC, ETH, and Sol liquidity for long positions, and you use the stablecoins USDC for short positions, whereas Hyperliquid is more of a order book based perps dex. I don't exactly understand. Like I put a lot of like thought into like how GMX style perps work, but I actually don't completely understand how an order book based perps work. But it does give you more trading pairs. It also comes with certain risks as well. There's more studying that I got to do there, but definitely if you're looking for BTC or Ethereum or Solana, longing or shorting, Jupiter perps is probably one of your best ways to do it with like basically zero slippage.
Yeah, it works really well. I can attest to that. Just from personal experience.
Another elephant in the room, Simon. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, we have just been hemming and hawing and talking about SIMD228, and it failed. Holy shit! This is not what I thought would happen. Are you surprised at the results? I'm surprised, quite frankly. I don't know whether or not we lost Simon or I lost me. I have no idea. Am I alone on this? What is going on here? I hope it's not my internet. Gonna look at these comments real quick. We're doing this live, folks. This is a live show. Let's see. All right. Did I lose my connection? Can anyone give a comment? Bueller? Checking. I'm actually gonna go check my Twitter. All right. Oh yeah, no, Simon is frozen. Okay, I'm checking my Twitter account. It's clear that that Simon is frozen. I guess time to tell a joke? I don't know. I don't know very many. We lost Simon. Simon rugged. We can hear Eno. Okay. All right. Well, all right, I'll just talk about stuff that's going on right now. Yeah, why not? We'll keep that up right now. We'll talk about SIMD228 in just a second. I am currently in Matsumoto, Japan. That has been a lot of fun. Been currently mentoring teams over in Japan. If you guys are interested in coming to Japan in the future, I really think you should. And I'm a little sad that Simon's not. Hey, Simon, he's back. How are you? I was entertaining the crowd with my horrible stories.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Yeah, we're just gonna cut the pod and continue with SIMD. I don't know what's happening. I just switched to my mobile, and we might have to do another cut later when I need to switch back. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about SIMD because that's really exciting, and I wanted to talk about it right now.
Wait, hold on, wait, Simon, take a deep breath.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to cut all this shit anyway, so it doesn't. Guys, we're doing this live, all right? So it is what it is. This is what the pod is like. Are we going to be able to pull up screen, or is that going to be a little impossible at the moment? Okay, perfect. Nice. Nice. Perfect. Cool. Okay. Just, hey, caveman, I know you're watching right now. Sorry about that. You're going to have to cut this bit out, but you ready to restart this pod, Simon?
Yeah, you start.
All right. Okay.
Stop my connection.
We're good. So, the next big news, and we've been talking about this over the last 2 weeks, is what happened to SIMD228. So over the last 2 weeks, there has been both discussion and voting on SIMD228, which is a proposal to reduce overall Solana inflation. If you have been paying attention to Toli's tweets, essentially what he's saying is that, look, we're paying about $1 to $2 billion, in fiat value per year in Sol incentives to incentivize validators with the emissions, right? And essentially, if we try a new system called dynamic emissions, we'll be able to cut the overall inflation of the entire Solana network by $1 to $2 billion per year. And it's an open secret. Everybody knows this. This proposal was pushed by all the big validators. It was pushed by, I forgot what organization, Max Resnick. Yeah,
Oh,
the multi-coin cabal. But I mean, I know Max
yeah.
isn't a part of multi-coin, but you're correct.
No.
The
Yeah.
the multi-coin cabal is responsible for this proposal. It's an open secret. I mean, like, you're not supposed to talk about it, but
I mean,
everyone knows, right? Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it is
It
what
is
it is,
actually
right?
we have Tushar Yain from Multicoin, who's the managing partner at mtnCaptial. He's one of the authors of the SIMD228. So I think it's quite clear that they have some interest in this proposal. What is not clear is really why, honestly. And I've been doing a lot of digging and asking people, but it's not 100% clear to me still the full set of motivations and agenda behind Multicoin, maybe even Foundation, at least from Anatoly's side of things, because he's also a proponent. And there's like a few, of these Gito as well, like a big proponent of the proposal. So I don't know if you have more insights on this, than I have, but I think right now in my network, no one really were able to tell me the agenda behind these players. Maybe speculations.
Well, okay, like look, if you're in the builder network, you hear whispers. So I'll tell you what I've
Mm,
heard so far, and it's nothing nefarious. Like, I don't, guys, lowering inflation for Solana is a good thing, right? It's just a
yeah.
matter of how much and how are we doing that. So, like, just to begin with, the premise of SIMD 228, which was to reduce overall Solana inflation, I think is a good thing. Quite truly. I
Mm-hmm.
think where a lot of smaller validators took issue was that the target inflation rate that was mentioned in the proposal felt very arbitrary, right? As to the
Mm,
reason why, I really don't know if I should say, and again, it's not nefarious, but you know what? Fuck it. The reason that I've heard is because we want to get a Solana ETF approved, right? And for
mm,
institutions, you tell them that the overall value of the network, you're paying out $1 to $2 billion worth of incentives to help secure the network. That's very unattractive. And so if you can get
mm,
that inflation under control and still maintain, some, actually, quite frankly, I think these institutions do not give a shit if Solana is centralized or not, right? And by the way, I don't think that's a motivation for every large validator. So for example, Helios, I think that they vote for that for very different reasons. I think Toli also has very different reasons. But if you're looking at the
mm,
original people who are proposing it, the multi-coin cabal,
mm,
like, yeah, it's so that they can pull strings to get a Solana
mm,
ETF approved, and it's attractive to institutional investors to have less inflation of the network. Now, I don't know if
mm.
I'm going to get murdered for saying that publicly, but that is what I've heard. And again, I don't think that everyone thinks under that logic, but I think
Yeah.
that there are some validators who are very well meaning. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've heard.
And we might be wrong with this, right? So I think that's
Sure,
something we
could
need
be
to
wrong.
keep in mind. We're
Yeah.
just speculating on things, but what we're not speculating on is what happened around SIMD 228. First of all, it did not pass because it didn't reach the majority, the super majority for yes. You have to have, as we see on the shared screen, if you watch this on YouTube or on the live stream, you have to hit the threshold of 66.67%, which is 2/3 of the vote for or against it to kind of find a definite result. And the yes quote or the yes rate was only 61%. So it did not pass. SIMD failed, and we saw a lot of people reacting to it and giving their conclusions. Toli was pretty neutral on it. I don't think it was not a big defeat for him or something. Actually, a lot of people like Toli or Lily from Foundation, they were pretty bullish, not on the result of the proposal, but on two things. One thing is the participation of votes. So we actually saw a staggering 74% of vote participation from staked Sol. So basically, like almost the whole network, like the majority of the network actually voted on that proposal, which is a better voter turnout of every U.S. presidential election in the last 100 years. Little fun fact. So actually, the system is working to an extent. And the second positive thing about all this is that we saw a lot of discussions and a lot of heated discussions, a lot of good arguments for both sides on Discord, on Twitter, in the forums, like on the GitHub repo where the proposal was living. Like it got a little bit spicy here and there, but not to an extent where I thought it's problematic, because the amount of actual facts and precise arguments from people was definitely higher than the amount of people shitting on each other. So I
Yeah.
think the whole process was quite successful, I would say. And yeah, now with this proposal not passing, it doesn't mean that we won't lower inflation for Solana. It just means that we will have new ideas to talk about.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is not talked about at all, but I actually thought was super beautiful, is we saw a real example of decentralization within Solana, the organization itself. And what I mean
Mm,
about that specifically is that Tolly has been shilling SIMD228 for weeks now, right? And Lily, who's the president of Solana Foundation, not Solana Labs, came out publicly and said basically like, no, we should not vote yes on SIMD228. Like, you should vote
mm,
no. And like literally in any other organization, like that would just not be possible, where the labs and the foundation, but the heads of those, like literally the founder of Solana plus the president of Solana Foundation do not agree on how people should vote. So like, but also there's no lost love between them. Like, they still respect each other, and the points that they brought up respectively made sense in their own right. So I just thought it was kind of beautiful to see that the organization itself was allowing and tolerated different opinions, which
mhm.
is beautiful. So that's a
Agree.
very, very bullish sign.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of sides to this whole topic, to SIMD. And as you can hear right now as well, it's more than just a proposal vote on fundamentals inside Solana. It is also a test for the network state of Solana as an ecosystem, for the DAO of Solana, basically the validator community. It was a stress test for all these systems as well. To conclude the whole topic, maybe let me just
To conclude the whole topic, I'm going to sing a Blackpink song. It's honey, what's your favorite? My wife is right here next to me. Honey, what's your favorite Blackpink song? Pink? Pink Venom? I don't know that song. I'm sorry. Um, this has never happened before. Having to, well, hey, Simon, I was about to sing a
what is
Blackpink song. You
happening?
just saved me. You just saved me. I was not ready to sing that song.
What happened? Oh, I was gone again?
Yeah, you were gone, brother. Or is it just me? Am I crazy?
I think I just changed the view, bro. But all good. Let's. It was a cut. Let's
I
cut
was
again, or
I was
maybe you
po-
can.
Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead. All right. This is a
Okay.
great
So
episode 20. This was supposed to be like our crowning achievement. Like, oh my God, we finally got to episode 20. And just like the fucking Wi Fi is rugging. This is not Simon's fault, by the way. It just fucking happens. I apologize for this, guys. Anyways, let's, where were we?
so to wrap the whole SIMD 228 discussion up and come to a conclusion here, this is a little a little idea from Austin Federa that he put out in the Solana Foundation GitHub, in the SIMD section for proposals. And it was kind of, I think it started actually on Twitter with a tweet that was not really honest, like it wasn't meant in that way. It was more like a joke because it's so simple. But then people commented under the tweet like, "Hey, that's actually a good idea," and then he put it on the SIMD proposal forum in GitHub, because if you have an idea to change something in the Solana ecosystem fundamentally, then you need to put it in a Solana improvement doc and put it on GitHub. Otherwise, it's not real. You can't discuss it on Twitter or something. If it's something you actually want to push forward, you have to do it here. That's just the way it works. And Austin Federa said, well, Solana is overpaying for security, but dynamic systems create uncertainty. So Solana's annual inflation rate is currently 4.6% and will decrease by 15% every 180 epochs. One epoch is around 2 days. So it's around a year, right? So around 15%, the inflation rate right now decreases every year, every half year. Now, I propose, Austin Federa, to increase that, to increase the rate of the decreasing by 30% every 180 epochs. So instead of decreasing inflation by 15%, let's just decrease it by 30%, which will also lead to a reduction in inflation, which was the whole idea of the dynamic emission proposal from SIMD 228. Just 228 was freaking complex and no one really completely understood it, and the outcome was very uncertain. While this here makes a lot of sense. It's very easy, it's very simple to understand. So I don't have a take yet on this, but I wanted to put it out here for people to understand, okay, there's other ideas being discussed right now to solve the same problem. How can we lower inflation in Solana? And yeah, people reacted to this already, and you can also read it up if you go to the GitHub of Solana Foundation. and search for the proposal. But yeah, I think that's a good conclusion to basically wrap up and say the topic is not over yet. It's just the last proposal didn't make it, so we need new proposals. Let's see where this leads to.
Yeah, and obviously anything that can reduce the overall Solana foundation is good for everybody, right? Like obviously we want to do that in a responsible way, and in such a way that we can still keep the decentralization of the network and secure Solana with enough validators. But back to the drawing board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am ready for my favorite part of the podcast, Simon. You know that this is my favorite part because it's all about the cool shit that our friends are launching on Solana, because that is the stuff that is going to pump Solana token price to infinity. You know what I mean? So let's talk about some of the cool things that are going on. I think our boys, our friends over at Mountain DAO, they're working in partnership with MetaDAO, Profit, Nalik, you know that we love you. And they are, I don't know what to call this. It's like a crypto investment fund, but governed by Futarchy, like literally every aspect of it, whether it comes to hiring the people for your project or the way that tokens are distributed, is all done through predictive markets. And we have a flow here, it's called mtnCaptial. And how it works is this. Founders create a new launch, right? And they put it on the platform. And then funders have 7 days to invest USDC in those projects. If the launch receives sufficient USDC, not only do they receive, I believe it's MTN tokens, Mountain tokens, as well as the USDC, but those are put into a DAO, and they're only movable through governance proposals. So like all projects that launch through this platform have to use Futarchy, as well as the system itself uses Futarchy. If the launch does not receive sufficient USDC, so because funders have 7 days to invest USDC, they can claim their original money back. So it's just a very, very interesting system. I am very bullish on using Futarchy to have collective investment schemes. I don't know if if they would object to that, because it feels very like it goes into regulate, like what is a fund, right? Like, because if you're a fund, you're regulated in a very specific way. So I'm actually very curious how they solve the regulatory piece.
There's other projects that have made a really good effort. I think Legion CC, also an investment syndicate, they figured out a very good legal setup for their structure. For mtnCaptial, we don't know it yet because they didn't really talk about it. But it would be interesting to find it out as well. But I'm pretty sure they have a good setup. The team is primarily based in US. I could imagine they have some setup in US as well for this.
Yeah, especially with the one good thing that's come from the Trump administration that I'll be very honest about is that we no longer have a weaponized SEC. We have a regulatory body that is, I don't know if they're exactly friendly to crypto projects, but they're certainly not going out and trying to prosecute them and enforcement through prosecution, right? So that's very bullish for the space, and I'm hoping that this decentralized collective investment scheme works out, right? But using Futarchy, using markets to decide whether or not projects get funding, and that traders can do a better job picking high quality projects than VCs, is a very interesting thesis. I'm very much looking forward to mtnCaptial.
Definitely. Yeah, people can check it out. Read about how it works in detail as well. There was a good article also shared from Profit himself. So if you look up Meta Profit on Twitter, Profit with an E as a 3, then you will find MetaDAO's new Launchpad article as well, which looks exactly like this. And you can basically, I'm just sharing it right now on the screen share for people who are watching the video. You can read a little bit more about the specifics of the MetaDAO Launchpad. And what I love about this, is the mere fact that we are innovating and we are pushing the edges of launching tokens further and further, experimenting again, because that's what we did years ago when tokens were still new and no one really knew what's going to happen with them. People were experimenting with how can we launch tokens properly. And then they kind of fell into the whole trap of, oh, okay, I just launched a token and listed on an exchange and it's going to fly. And then the whole Binance era came up. But that came to an end because they motherfuckers got very greedy and asked projects to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it worked for a few weeks, and then it all exploded, and it doesn't work anymore. Then Pump.Fund came, and everyone was like, oh, that's great. We can permissionlessly launch tokens, and then they go through the roof. And then that didn't work because those tokens have a lifespan of 2 hours. So we need something better. So we need to experiment. And I'm so grateful for MetaDAO and also other projects. That's also why I'm a big fan of the Swissborg team with BorgPad, because they just relentlessly keep experimenting, iterating. How can we build a launchpad that works for tokens? Some tokens will die, others will make it, but we need to give the right tools, the right platform, the right system to launch the token. The team needs to do the rest, right? So very interesting, and looking forward to seeing more from MetaDAO.
This next project, also close personal friends of ours, Ranger Finance. Ranger Finance is a perpetual. Let me try that again. Okay, so this next protocol, cut and oh god, this caveman is going to kill us.
You got this, bro.
Okay, yeah, I know, I got this. So this next protocol is Ranger Finance. Ranger Finance is a aggregated perps dex protocol. So you can kind of think of it as Jupiter, but for perps dexes. And they just announced that they have a new integration with Drift. And Drift is obviously one of the biggest perps protocols on Solana. So very happy for this integration. 2 OGs. Did you know that Edgar is also one of the co-founders of Ranger Finance?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So Edgar, I'm gonna fuck up his last name, but Pavlovsky, used to be a co-founder over at. Yeah, he used to be. I hope I didn't fuck that up too badly.
Yeah.
But Edgar used to be one of the co-founders over at MarchNFi. Then he left. After he left, he started working on Paladin, which is kind of a competitor to Jito. He also works very heavily on Ranger Finance. And also is one of the founders of Mountain DAO. So it's kind of crazy. I can't believe that Edgar has time to do all this shit. But yeah, in addition to organizing a new token launchpad over at Ranger Finance in partnership with Fatu and Barrett and a bunch of other strong-arm chads, they've integrated Drift protocol into Ranger Finance. So you can basically just go to Ranger for all of your perps dex data as well as trading needs.
Really cool. And the good thing about Ranger Finance, about the product itself, is that the user experience is really neat. It's really easy to use that protocol, honestly. Like, you just play around with Ranger, how easy it is to open longs and shorts on tokens here. Obviously, be careful doing that. And you will always get the best price, because that's what an aggregator does. Like, you will always get the best executing price on your perp that you can get on Solana. And the more protocols they integrate, the more chances you have to catch better prices on fees. So that's why the Drift integration is very bullish, because now they compare prices from Flash Trade, from Drift, from Jupiter Perps, and all these successful protocols. There's going to be Adrena. Adrena protocol is following next. So there's going to be next integration probably very soon. I already have that alpha. The Adrena team confirmed that. So Ranger Finance expanding its integrations. Good stuff.
Yes. And guys, they're also pre-TGE, so do with that information what you will. Not financial advice, but yeah, Ranger is pre-TGE. If you're looking to do some perps trading, not a bad platform to explore. Next up, we have our very good friends over at Kaizen. Kaizen is an NFT education platform, and you might be like, NFTs are dead. Why the fuck are you talking about this? Well, they're actually transitioning, right? So their new mission now is to not just provide all the greatest information about NFTs and user education around it, but they're actually moving more towards how do we, educate the masses about blockchain. And what are we talking about exactly? We're talking about PayFi, DeFi, meme coins, NFTs, GameFi, DePIN, domains, DAOs, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much user education that has to be done when a person first comes into Solana. I'm hoping that on this podcast that we have plenty of people who are just starting their DeFi journeys or trying to explore what's available in the Solana ecosystem. And Kaizen is, I think, going to be one of the bigger education platforms for Solana. So I'm really, really wishing them the best of luck. Omi is an OG monkey. He's been building in the space for years. And I'm so glad to see him making this transition from NFTs to kind of more just broader Solana education. I almost feel like there's some stuff that we want to do with him, Simon.
We're on the same mission. We're in the same mission here. So definitely worth talking.
Yeah. It'd also be sick to get solid get you guys as well. Yeah. get Solana ID as well as Sanctum on there as well. I will definitely be having a conversation with them later about that.
Yep. For sure. But that's great. That's great. There's one more update. I'm reading one more big product update, protocol launch kind of thing in the Solana ecosystem that we want to cover. What are you looking at?
Yeah. Okay. So Drift is introducing a new protocol called Swift Protocol. And what Swift Protocol does is it's a huge liquidity upgrade to Drift. And to be more specific, right? Like if you look at their documentation, what they're doing is they're consolidating liquidity from AMMs, order books, and private market makers all into one. So it solves the fragmented liquidity issue. And look, if you're trying to trade perps, what you need is that deep liquidity. And you as a trader personally don't give a shit where that liquidity comes from. If it comes from an AMM or a private market maker, who cares? We just want all of that to be in a single layer so that I can draw my bucket into the well so I can trade. And quite frankly, Simon, I thought that this is how perps already worked. Like I kind of thought that they already brought together all their liquidity into a single bucket. But now that I think about it, like, yeah, there must be a lot of technical reasons why that's not just common practice and why it took Drift until now to release this protocol. So, I mean, for you as a perps trader, like, what does this sound like to you?
This sounds amazing because this essentially what it does to us traders is it will improve the overall user experience for trading DEX for trading on DEXs. And this in turn will move more capital on chain, which is amazing because that's what we all want. We want that decentralized systems are being widely used. And so far, the main limiting factor for DApps to not find mass adoption is that they are not superior, they're actually inferior in terms of the user experience to a lot of centralized systems we have, which is a very logical result of a decentralized system because it's quite complex compared to centralized systems. So for me, UX upgrade, amazing. And actually, you're talking about liquidity aggregation, which is great. That's what they do. But there's another kind of caveat to the whole Swift update. Because instead of requiring traders to submit transactions directly to the Solana blockchain, the Swift protocol now allows them to sign an off-chain message containing the order details. And this message is sent to a network of keepers and market makers, and they compete to execute the trade. So this whole kind of system is now helping, for example, market makers to respond in milliseconds, ensuring that there's a rapid execution to minimize delays. And rapid execution and minimizing delays is again one of the major things you need to do to have a great UX on a perp DEX. Because if you're a day trader, it really sucks to not have rapid execution. Click a button and it takes 5 seconds. Doesn't work, right? It needs to be very precise systems, and that's why most liquidity is still on DEXs because they're fast. They're fast as fuck, and they work very well. And on DEXs, it's always a bit clunky still, but I think this is a step in the right direction. So shout out to Drift.
Yeah, just. And like just to double click on some of the key benefits of having deeper liquidity. I mean, exactly as Simon said, you have instant order execution. You have gasless trading because the trading fees are handled more through the market makers themselves. You have better prices. And also, this is super key, seamless market maker integration. And the reason why that's so important is that if you can provide infrastructure that makes it easy for any market maker to onboard onto your platform, what that means is just more liquidity, right? Like this is how Stripe beat PayPal, right? PayPal was a giant payments giant in the web. Wow, that's redundant. But yeah, PayPal was huge. And then Stripe comes along, and what is Stripe's competitive advantage to, $1 billion unicorn, right? Well, the competitive advantage is just a better development experience, DevX, right? So that's the same thing that they're providing here. It's not so much DevX, but like a better liquidity provision experience for market makers. So very, very bullish on Swift Protocol. I think it's going to do great things for Drift and offer great trading experiences for all of our perp traders out there. We love you. Just don't lose all your money on leverage.
Listen to Eno. Okay, I think we can slowly move into the last chapter of Soul Brothers EP20, which is the culture and FUD section, where we talk a little bit about the drama going on the Twitter timeline. Do you have any drama you can share with me? Because I love the drama.
Yeah. So I think the biggest piece of drama, and fortunately, it's not so much about a Solana protocol, but more about some of the people involved in rugging innocent users. Hayden Davis, Mr. Let's extract max value on this, boys. Fuck that guy. Interpol has released a red notice for, I don't know why they call it he's a Libra founder. That's not exactly correct. He was not a Libra founder, but more the market maker that was responsible for help. Yeah, a market maker, right? But, I guess if you want to call that a founder, then fine. You know, we can debate semantics, but yeah, was he a key player in the Libra launch? Absolutely. And Interpol has put out a red notice for him, so that's a I don't know. He deserves it, right? I think he deserves it.
Of course, he deserves it. He rocked a lot of people. He made a lot of money, and he publicly, basically told everyone that he did it. So in this weird video where he was wearing this Hogwarts clothing and looked just off. Like everything about this whole story is just so weird. I don't even know what's happening anymore. But yeah, long story short, people are looking for Hayden Davis, and Hayden Davis was like, you know what? Fuck it. So Hayden Davis reportedly launched another token called Wolf while under an Interpol red notice. So just a little side fact here. There's according to some analytic firms like Bubble Maps and other protocols, and also CoffeeZilla, I think, talked about this as well on YouTube. Davis is identified as the creator of the Wolf token, WOLF, which surged to a market cap of $40 million before crashing, with evidence suggesting insider control over 82% of its supply. Same shit, different day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say. It's like, just fuck that guy. And like, I also, not just that guy though, because he's playing a game of Roblox. You've seen those memes, right, where he looks like the Roblox characters because his proportions are all fucked. Like, I'm not body shaming here. It's just clear that he's wearing like a muscle suit. It's just, there's just no way, right? I mean, like, Simon, as a person who actually you work out every day. I mean, like, it like literally last episode was an episode of the gun show because you were wearing that Chicago Bulls basketball jersey. As a muscle expert, could you please I mean, as literally an expert in the human physique, I mean, that dude, he's wearing a muscle suit, right? That's not, or whatever he's doing, that's not, is that real?
He looked like a superhero. But he's more like a super villain, actually. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. But I'm really asking myself, where is he? Like, how hard can it be to find him? So Interpol, please do your fucking job. So we don't have other token rug pulls coming from him, because that's literally what happened. Like, while they're looking for him, he launched another token rug. So. Anyway, I don't want to give more time to this man. Do you have one more sentence for him, and then we continue, because he doesn't deserve more respect than that.
No, it's just the same public service announcement that I give every week, which is like, guys, have some fucking personal responsibility, okay? It's like, we can blame the ruggers all we want, but also it's a two-sided equation, right? You have people who rug, and then you have dummies who gamble, right? And the dummies who gamble go like, you scammed me. And it's like, well, yeah, but you knew you knew that there was like, I mean, there's no way that you're in this space and you when you put your money in, you don't think that there's like probably a 90% probability. Like, if you think there's a 90% chance you make money, then I don't know what to tell you. There's a 90% chance that you lose money, so I guess don't get surprised when that happens. So just a small public service announcement. You know that I'm obsessed with this topic. It's just like, stop giving your money to meme coins, put them into protocols that are actually earning revenue. Let's have a Solana DeFi renaissance, and we all win together. Okay, we're all early. So if we all just decided to ape real protocols, I'm not going to name protocols because I don't want to shill, but you know what I mean, though, right? Like, we could all win together and help real projects that are actually earning revenue, you know, skyrocket to infinity, and also fund, like, they're actually doing the work, right? Like, why are you giving your money to people who are not willing to do the work and just want your money? That's way more than one sentence. I'm sorry, Simon.
Humans. It's just humans, you know, and we will make it. We will make it, you know. It will be good. It will be. We're all gonna win. We're gonna get tired of winning, you know. So it will be glorious. Just give it some time, and we need a bit more pain, so everyone loses their money that we don't want to have in this ecosystem, and then they're all gone, and then the good ones stay with us. So that is usually what's going to happen if Twitter allows us to stay alive, because Twitter has some weird, I don't know, there's some weird stuff going on Twitter. Do you have any other news regarding the whole kind of Twitter dilemmas that are going on here and there? I saw there's like a few other attacks on some Twitter accounts and stuff going on.
I mean, I don't know if any of you experienced this, but over the weekend, I was trying to connect to X in Japan, and it just wasn't working. And so I just assumed it was crappy Wi-Fi, right? And then we were in the group chat with the Soul Brothers team, and our social master, Jay, I think you're also on the stream, but he was saying like he could not get access to X, and so it looks like here, Elon did an interview with Fox News and trying to explain like why X went down for a period of time. And he claims that it has to do with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area. Honestly, when it comes to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I don't trust a fucking word that comes out of their mouths. I have no idea what's true and not true. I don't know. Do you have a take on this? I literally got no idea.
This is exactly my take at this moment as well, because the problem with Elon now is that he's way too politically engaged and motivated that because I used to believe the things he said because I knew exactly how his mind works, which is I want to go to Mars. I want to build electric cars that are better than everyone else. That's what I'm doing. I want to build gigafactories that produce batteries cheaper than China. So everything he did was the goal, right? But now I don't really know what his goal is. So is he trying to blame Ukraine for something they didn't do? I don't know. That would be a kind of a theory. But I just want Twitter to fucking work. So please do your job and let this page work because we live off Twitter. So yeah, that's my take.
Yeah. And speaking of making Twitter just work, I mean, literally, I talked about this just fucking last week. I said, Simon, every week we have at least one or two things on the agenda where accounts get compromised. Guess what's on the agenda again, Simon?
Well,
literally, yeah, more account compromises, with Kato AI, and I think one of the founders, Punk 9277. So it's just like, I'm so bored of talking about this.
Well, but just stay safe, guys, because it happens. And as soon as you read one of these official statements, then just be careful to interact with anything that comes from these accounts. Kaito has they kind of started to announce some suspicious behavior on some of their wallets. Actually, that was the first thing I read. So they saw some suspicious behavior happening on some of the wallets Kaito owns, and they said they're going to look into it. And then I think they came up with the next statement, which was the Kaito wallets were not and are not compromised. And they basically just had an X, how do you say? An X.
A Twitter hack.
Twitter hack. Twitter hack. The account of the founder got hacked. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, but it's just, again, Simon, it's just boring. It's like every single fucking week. It's just like, oh my god, so I got hacked again. It's like, yeah, I know, bro. It just happens every week. Is that really all that surprising?
It is.
And people are still giving their money. So, whatever, I guess.
Well, there's always going to be some people that fall for it, but at least we're doing our job, educating people to not fall for any scams. Don't fall for any hacked X accounts, and I think we're going to learn from it. We're going to get better, and then this is going to stop at some point as well. And I want to do one special shout out. I want to do one special shout out as well before we wrap up slowly today. There's like a few things you can double click on, but one special shout out goes out to our friends from Solflare, because Solflare is the Solana wallet that has been around for a long time, and Solflare gang is really, I can attest to that. The Solflare gang is very Solana motivated. They're a very Solana centric team, and that's also why they never really pursued the agenda of integrating any other blockchain to their wallet, which would be a quick win. And other crypto wallets are doing it on Solana. They're integrating other chains to expand their market, right? But Solflare is, no, we are the Solana wallet. That's why it's literally written in their company name. But they have something cooking. Something is happening with Solflare, and it's happening this week. Right now, it's Monday. It's the 17th of March. And I think we will see around the time of the publication of this podcast, I think we might see some more news, because we've seen some teasers. And on Twitter, the whole timeline was full of hold strong. There's a new slogan that Solflare came up, and it's the whole hold strong theme. And I think it's a campaign they're running. It's a marketing campaign they're running leading up to some larger announcement that we might see this week. And one teaser we can already see as part of this announcement is an NFT collection from Solflare, which is very interesting. so far we only know something similar in the backpack universe, which is Mad Lads and Backpack, right? They have some sort of obviously affiliation. But now Soulflare just launched this yesterday on Sunday. They said click on the banner in your Soulflare wallet to mint a free NFT, to get access to a free NFT. And with that NFT, you will basically join a giveaway of 70,000 USDC. And it will be the NFT you're getting in your wallet right now will be revealed very soon. So when you listen to that podcast, the campaign might be over. If you listen on time to this, just get your NFT in the Soulflare wallet. It's literally for free. You can just mint it inside of your Soulflare wallet. One NFT per account. I think it's soulbound. You can transfer it. It is part of your personality, part of your identity account in Soulflare. And it will be hidden yet. So it won't be visible what NFT it is, but it will be revealed sometime soon. So Soulflare got something cooking, and I think we should pay attention because Soulflare is quite a big player on Solana and a very genuine Solana building team that it's worth following and participating in their campaigns.
Yeah, Soulflare was actually my first Solana wallet, and I use a variety of wallets, and Soulflare is usually Jupiter Mobile is my main. But I'm not gonna lie and say I don't use Soulflare. Like, Soulflare is definitely. Hey, Jupiter Mobile team, I need you guys to include a integration into dApps. All right, like I know you guys are working on this, but like one of the main reasons why I'm not using Jupiter Mobile as my main is that you don't have like the browser extension that I can use for dApps. It's not heavily integrated into the ecosystem, and so like I use I use Soulflare a lot actually. So kudos to the Soulflare team. They've always been very generous with the ecosystem too. I think that's another nice little, I think, kind of tidbit about Soulflare that most people might not know is that. And look, I'm not saying that if you need money, like go beg Soulflare. That's not my point. I'm saying that for worthy teams, like they have a little bit of cash to spare, and they do try to support, whether it be different events around the world or whether it be teams that are building. They've been very generous just to the ecosystem in general. So I mean, not only are they stellar builders, but they've also just been very kind and can confirm just having met the team. Really cool dudes. So very bullish on whatever Soulflare is doing with NFTs, and I'm kind of curious to see whether or not it's going to be the next Mad Lads mint. So yeah, big question marks on my side.
Exactly. It is question mark still. We don't know exactly what this campaign is, but we know you can mint something. So go ahead and do it. It's literally free, and you will see. I think what we know is that there's going to be a big giveaway, and the NFT is your ticket to enter it. So why not? Why not show some support to Soulflare and get some reward in return?
Yeah. Okay, so Simon, I'm adding up all of the accounts, my account, your account, and Soul Brothers, and like how many people are watching. I am not shitting you. We're ending episode 20 with 420 listeners. That just has to be a sign from God. I'm being absolutely serious. It is literally, I mean, from the numbers I'm seeing on my screen, it is literally 420 listeners. That has to. We live in such a weird timeline. I can't believe that is unless the math is mathing. That's insane. Yeah. So to all 420 listeners, to all 420 listeners of the Soul Brothers pod, I mean, thank you for a phenomenal episode 20. We had a couple of technical difficulties over there, but that's the point of doing a live show. Sometimes, it doesn't work out perfect, but I can promise you that it's entertaining. Simon, you got any last words for the pod?
I mean, we still have like 10 other topics, but we call it a day. We wrap it up because we're at the hour mark and we covered the most important things. So let's officially close down the podcast. It has been my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to host EP 20 together with my friend Eno for you at the Soul Brothers Pod, Solana's finest podcast. You can follow us on Twitter to actually stay up to date and get news every single day and also get entertained every single day. But you can also follow the Soul Brothers Pod on YouTube to get this beautiful video content shipped to you every single week in a long format. And you can also listen to the Soul Brothers Pod on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So make sure to also follow the pod there and show us some love and support because we are still early. But EP 20 is basically our first big milestone. But I think, what's the next one, What is going to be the next big milestone EP? Is it 50? Shall it be
50.
Episode 50? Is that the big?
Yeah. I think 50 is a nice number. Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay,
that'll be like almost a year of having done Soul Brothers. Crazy.
Exactly. So please stay with us, guys, because EP 50 is coming at some point. And when EP 50 is here, I really don't want to know what happened until then, because every single week is a freaking something between a clown show and the revolution of the internet economy and everything around it. It's something in between there. That's what we're doing here at Solana and at Soul Brothers. So thank you for tuning in and being part of this journey, and we will see you at the next pod. Peace out.
Peace out. Oh, Simon, let's stay for the people a little bit. You know, I just kind of feel like, you know, we got people
James
who
Hanley.
are
R.I.P.
James Hanley. Oh, fucking love James. Hey, James, we covered Drift. We love you.
We did our job, yeah. We covered Drift without getting paid for it.
Oh.
You know? Yeah, here you go.
Honestly, can we just... I think that we have a lot of first-time listeners here. I think this is actually the biggest stream that we've done, Simon. I feel so great that, you know, this has been the biggest stream that we've ever done. But that also means that, you know, we can talk about the mission again. And I know that people who've been watching the pod for a long time might be like, oh my God, they're talking about this again. But it's important, right? Like, why the fuck are we doing this pod, Simon?
Because I'm having fun. Why are you doing the pod?
Well, I'm having fun too, but like more importantly,
it's
like to educate people. Yeah, the bigger questions in life. You know, it's education. You know, it's you know, the podcasts on Solana. What you got is like the super technical shit, like Validated, and what's the other one? What's the one that Mert does? Is it Validated? It's Lightspeed, right. I mean, so those are super technical podcasts, right? And then on the lower end, and no disrespect to Jakey, you know, I love Jakey's content. But, you know, that's kind of like the degen crowd and like entertainment for entertainment's sake, right? Like, we're trying to cover this sweet middle spot, right? Where we're both educating you, but hopefully doing it in a fun way and giving you our hot takes, and hopefully convincing you to join an on-chain future where you don't full port your shit into into meme coins. Like, if I can just convince one person not to lose their money on dumb leverage on some stupid meme coin, then I will sleep easy at night, because I'm tired of people complaining about like, oh my God, Solana's a scam. No, man, you're an idiot. I know Simon doesn't like when I go full war on that, but yeah, I just feel like you got to get angry at people so that they just understand. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Simon?
I'm just caught somewhere between, because we also have to get rid of some of the shit. Like, you can't just justify everything in life with, oh, just be smarter, you know, like, oh, don't get robbed at the fuel station, just don't go there at night because it's not safe. No, just keep your fucking country safe. Or I don't know what other examples we have here, but, you know, oh, I got bit by a shark. Okay, it's a bad example. Don't use that. But I just want to say that we have to also make sure that the systems we're building here at least have some sort of security and safety measures in place, because we have newcomers, we have new people coming to crypto that are not as well versed as we are. So they might not be stupid, actually. They might be smart people, but they just don't know what the fuck is happening here. They literally don't know these rug pulls. Like, they haven't seen them yet. They're just like, oh, okay, this is funny. Like, this is a funny coin. That looks cool. And then they get rugged. I'm like, okay, it's like, you know, like, sorry for you that you lost your money and buy again.
By the way, so Simon and I we disagree on things, but this isn't like, it's not, we don't hate each other. It's just like, it's okay to disagree on stuff. But it's like, bro,
we're adults.
Like, if you're investing in dick butt and you lose your money, I don't know what to tell you. But at the same time, let me argue in your favor. Like, what if it's like an AI token, right? And like the thesis actually looks pretty interesting to you, and you're not a particularly sophisticated investor, but you are excited in the team, and the team just runs away with your money. Like that's a situation which I sympathize with. I just don't sympathize with. Here's a major account, Meow. He spends all his time talking about Jupiter, and then he's also going to release a new token. It's all like, okay, like, that's, if you gave it money, then
I'm just like, I think I like to try to feel empathy with people and understanding, and be kind of, you know, okay, you're not me, you know, you might not have the same knowledge I have, so maybe I need to, you know, be a bit more understanding here. Like, because some people, they don't know Meow, they don't know, again, like, they're new, right? So they don't know that that Twitter accounts can be hacked. You know, they might be just new to all of this shit, and then they come into this Wild West, and after 12 years of building, they're still getting fucked by people doing stupid illegal things. So I just want, I'm not saying this is. I'm not saying it's a problem that can be solved. We're literally solving right now with new token launch platforms, with Pump.fun being, you know, shitty as they are, and it's just going down. But like, it's being washed out, and MetaDAO Launchpad is actually a good example of how this can work better. There's other launchpads as well that do a good job. We have Meteor Alpha Vault, great technology, that helps to not get drugged with the token, at least to an extent. It gives some security. So that's what I want. I want this experimentation that I mentioned earlier to kind of build safer systems.
Actually, there's one thing that we should have fucking covered in the podcast that I remember reading, but I forgot about to add to the agenda. It's Jupiter released this new feature. It's like they're trying to come up with a way for
the
social
tokenites.
networks. Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, we should have covered that. But for anyone who's not familiar with what the fuck I'm talking about, it's Jupiter released kind of what exactly was it called again, Simon? Could you remind me? It was called a token.
We'll just check real quick because we covered it on Saturday in the Solid Talk as well.
Yeah.
It is it is, where is it? Jupiter, basically, I don't know how it's called, but you can just like a token in the Jupiter Trenches section. So that's what's happening. So you go on Jupiter Trenches, you look for a token, find the token, you connect your Twitter account with an API. It's not getting connected with your wallet. They're just making a handshake, and then you can use your Twitter account to vote on a token and like a token. If you have a non-verified Twitter account, it doesn't work because that's one of the measures they're trying to sort out the bots. So you have to have a verified Twitter account, which means some sort of subscription, right? And you can also be a smart account. So if you're a smart account on Twitter, which they probably query from some API, and that is usually an account that has like a lot of other followers that are also smart accounts with a lot of followers, then your vote is worth more. So
yeah, we're getting notes from the Jupiter Uplink team, a Jupiter Uplink team as we speak. There's community validation, and then also smart CT likes, right? And community validation makes a bunch of sense because it's essentially strict list, V2, right? And what essentially that looks like is, look, you go into a token, you look at the UI, and you see if there are people that you respect and trust that are saying that this token is the real token associated with the project, right? It is not an endorsement. No, look, we've covered this before, but this was episodes ago, so we'll cover this again. The Jupiter strict list system is not a system in which they say this is a good investment. Like, that is not what the strict list is meant to do, right? What the strict list is meant to do is say, this is the token associated with the project that you are trying to invest in, right? So that's essentially what it means. And this is a much better system because now you can kind of look at, okay, these are people that I respect, and they are saying that this is the correct token. Now, you could hack this. Like, the hacker would have to manipulate, probably dozens, if not hundreds of accounts who are all trusted within your ecosystem, and then like a token en masse at the same time, which is theoretically possible, but practically impossible, right? Like that would just be impossible to pull off. But yeah, just making sure that you're not getting caught up in any honeypot or imposter token. Will is literally giving us speaking notes, so I appreciate that, Will. Have you met Will before?
Not in person. I just on a Twitter timeline, being roasted by him. Usually, that's what happens. Yeah.
Will. I think Will's German, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys could actually have a real conversation.
Really? But Mac Fletcher is not his real name.
I don't think that's his real last name. No, I doubt that that's Will's last real last name. But he's also that dude that fucking made that photoshopped. I'm not gonna describe this photo. The not safe for work photo.
No. I already forgot about everything. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. There's like a black spot in my. Head. Yeah.
Blank slate. I forgot.
People who don't know what we're talking about. Perfect. Keep doing that.
Perfect. Yeah, just that didn't happen. That's not a part of the lore. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for coming to episode 20. Simon, you got my name is super real. No, it's fucking not, liar.
I don't even know.
Simon,
maybe it's actually true. They're just roasting his real name. Yeah.
You got any last words for the people?
Just stay solid, guys, and stay safe out there, and show up again when it's time for Salt Brothers Live next week, because we're doing it. We're doing it every single week, and tell all your fans about it, because we're so close before 1,000 followers on X, and that's our success KPI that we're measuring here. Because if no one gives a shit, then this ain't fun, Like, we need people to give shits. then media production is much more fun. So yeah, just give us a follow and tell your friends to give us a follow, and then we're all gonna have more fun together.
Sorry, we should say thank you to a couple of people for episode 20, honestly. Biggest thank you goes to Caveman. What can you tell us about Caveman?
Caveman lives in a cave somewhere in the world, and he has this little laptop there where he does all these crazy video setups that are fucking insane. Where you have like I don't even know, I'm not a videographer, but you have this timeline of video edits, and it's like 50 different kind of screens that he's like putting over each other. Like, this man is just wild. He actually doesn't live in a cave. I think he probably has a house or something. Is a Caveman? Are you South African? Is he South African?
Yes, correct. Yeah, he's from SA. Yeah, he's from SA.
Okay,
so
cool.
yeah, Caveman has been with us from day one, and he was, just a stellar teammate. The fourth and last member of Soul Brothers, it's me, Simon, Caveman, and he goes on Twitter by LeClop. I'm not going to dox him. But LeClop, guys, if you're wondering like who's shit posting you on Twitter, it's not Simon or me. It's like
we don't do that. We're a nice citizen.
Yeah, actually, I want to fire that guy because he keeps roasting us. I'm like, bro, relax.
Yeah, slow down on that one, bro. Like, otherwise, you're gonna have problems here. Actually, yeah, keep going. It's fun.
Yeah, but he's only been here for like a month. Like for like until like episode 15, we weren't taking our Twitter account seriously at all. Like it was like 100 followers for the longest time, and now we're close to 1,000 in just a month. So that's absolutely phenomenal. Like I'm so proud of the work that LeClop is doing, and so like we've built out a really stellar team over at Soul Brothers. And yeah, are you looking at?
I just want to pull up some of his great work.
Yeah, no, he's very good, and even if you just look at the impressions and data for the account, he's everywhere all at once, and I'm just really bullish on this team. I feel like we're the only podcast team on Solana that's taking it seriously. Yes, this is like I work basically full time at Sanctum. Simon is obviously a full time founder over at Solana ID, and this is like our side project. But at the same time, like I think we're the only team that's taking it this seriously. We're taking calls at like 3, or we're taking calls at like 3:30 a.m. to talk just about the pod. And so like what you can expect is that this is going to be a Solana media empire. And I think that the last thanks that I want to reserve to is obviously Jupiter. They took a leap of faith in us, and they're sponsoring the podcast, and hopefully we're providing enough educational content for Jupiter. But they've been great friends throughout the years and took a chance on us and were willing to sponsor the podcast. And quite frankly, Simon and I were paying for all this shit out of pocket for months, and Jupiter, kind of came in and made this a little, we certainly don't make money on this podcast. We're still paying for stuff out of pocket, but we can actually afford it now without going fucking broke. So.
Which you need if you want to build a media empire, because you have to be self-sustainable. So we need to think about how can we keep this growing, and you can only grow with money, and otherwise, we can't pay Caveman with love. I can try. I'll meet him later this month, but I don't think he's going to accept. We can't really, we can't expand our team without money. We can't get sick kind of gear in terms of mics and cams and all that shit without money. So we need that, and we have different kind of revenue paths we could take as a media company. But one of the key goals here for Soul Brothers is to stay as independent as possible. So we don't want to be opinionated by a sponsor, really. So we want to work with people from our close network that we like, that we actually love. Like, we want to work with projects that we want to talk about because we are bullish on them. And that's going to be like this forever. Like, if you see any kind of companies mentioned by the Soul Brothers podcast, they're all people we are excited about. And we don't give a shit if they pay us money or not. If you build an awesome feature, we're gonna mention you, right? And if you're gonna quote retweet us, then we're gonna love you. But we're not really expecting things. But Jupiter, I think, is a very good pick because they have a great product, they have a very good standing in Solana, and they deserve more attention, which is great. And they also let us do what we want to do, right? So
yeah. Dude, Simon, I'm being 100% for real. If Pump.Fun came to me tomorrow and said, like, look, we'll pay you 100 grand per month to be a sponsor of the pod, I would tell them to
You
go
do it.
fuck themselves. Yeah, I
Yeah.
no, 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 I'd tell them
like
to go
that?
fuck themselves. No,
Yeah.
fuck Pump.Fun and fuck, I mean, I don't know, I don't hate
Yeah.
Kraken, but fuck Kraken for taking all our soul and not putting it into a validator, you fucks.
Oh,
So yeah, no,
Kraken?
like,
Yeah.
no, Kraken didn't do anything wrong. It's that
They
they're
didn't do
collateral
anything.
damage.
They're okay,
Kraken didn't do anything wrong.
Shots fired.
Sorry, Kraken.
Yeah.
I was joking. But yeah, no. Like I think the one thing that I feel very privileged about is like this is not about the money. It's about like, can we educate, and like, is this fun for us? Like we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun. And like, it's very rare to meet a partner, and now I'm just circle jerking here, but like, it's very rare to meet a partner that shares that same philosophical value with you. And I just feel so comfortable because I know there will never come a day where Simon comes to me and goes, you know, be a great idea. What if he launched a Soul Brothers token? Like, that's just never happening. Okay. like, we're like against extractors in the ecosystem. We're against the tourists. We're against people who are just taking value out of Solana and don't bring anything back. So yeah, I just feel very lucky and blessed that we got to episode 20. I'm just so happy and thankful.
Likewise, thank you to you, sir, as well, for pushing the limits, the boundaries. So that's a good thing. But yeah, more to come. What can people expect? People can expect quality getting better and better. And I think, content, I think we're going to focus on what works really well are the shorts we're doing. So I think people can expect more amazing short form content of the Soul Brothers, where you can get exciting little tidbits of news in an entertaining format on your timeline. And that's something we also want to do. And I think there's and basically relentless shipping. That's what you can expect. Just us showing up every single week to do this, because that's just the way we think we will be successful, and that's why it's going to be a good idea to do it. Because you need what's the word when you do something over and over again? Yeah, continuous. You need continuous execution. Without any stops, right? And that's what we're here for, because there's always something to talk about. Anyway, speaking of talking, how about we stop that now and go into our day, because we got shit to do. And even though this is a lot of fun, we also have to do the shit. So thank you guys for being here and for staying with us so long. We're almost at 500, just 4 more people. 4
Woo!
more. Anyway. 3 more people, only 3 more. If I tell one more joke, we might have 500, but whatever. We're going to wrap it up, right?
It's all good, brother. And then we're going to hit, like, these numbers are baby numbers. Like, we're going to pump this shit to infinity. Trust me. Yup.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. 2 more people. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will then see you next week at the next one, when it's time again for Soul Brothers. 1 more person. When it's time again for Soul Brothers in the same environment at the very same time. You can just click the button, but you can also watch this episode once it's shipped on Wednesday this week, and send it to all your friends and your family who should learn about Solana. And 500, we made it. Okay, thank you so much for being part of this.
Woo!
And peace out. See you at the next one. Sorry for that one person that just got in now when we're stopping the stream.